Let's talk about it, guys. All right, so last Friday I did go to Big X Sports Radio, uh, Kentucky Roll Call, hosted by Stephen Peak of KSR. And I mean, honestly, man, I had an amazing time. Had an amazing, conversation with him. Just talking about UK sports, talking about wrestling. Just having a great time. Having, just a a good conversation. And this is where I really KSR sucks. Okay, it's good, man. Okay, that's what you feel. Okay, great for you. This is where I think social media and networking really comes, full circle for a lot of things, because one, I've never met Steven. I've never met any of, the guys there. And just for somebody to scroll on through, TikTok, whatever platform, and, just see you talking about sports and then, having a dialogue, having a conversation. Unlike some people that don't know how to have a conversation, having a conversation, be like, hey, love to have you on the show, blah, 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 blah. One thing leads to another. You go from, one-time thing to, hey, you're more than welcome to come back. All right, so, again, Friday I will be back on Big X Sports Radio in Louisville with Steven from 12 to 2. And, just a reoccurring thing. And that's the thing about, anything media or anything like networking. It's always good to, be out there, talking, because you never know who you'll meet. You never know. I'd never met him. First time meeting him was in the studio, and we clicked, and we it was a good time. And that's just with anything in general, business. Even my other channels. My other channels, my gaming channels, and actually getting to have a conversation with a tournament director of one of the biggest gaming platforms out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's very interesting to see how widespread your network can go. Like I said, I've run 3 channels, and it's a very, very fun thing. But one thing I will say, let's see. Steve's a good dude. We've had interactions here a few times. Hey, Kev, thank you so much for the follow. One thing I will say, driving to Louisville, good God almighty, what the heck is going on with that traffic? He told me before, he was like, man, my bad, I forgot to tell you about the traffic. That traffic is crazy. Kentucky basketball is NIT first round exit in 2026. All right, it's good to know. Louisville traffic is terrible. Louisville traffic sucks. And right now, I mean, I put it up there in the top 5. Now, I can't say it competes with like New York, Cali, and other places. Someone finally met you and liked you. I know, Wireman. Someone finally met me and liked me. Wireman, like, what is going on? Like, where at what world did we find somebody that actually liked me? And we talked about wrestling, and I gave my vast knowledge of wrestling. Thank you very much. And that's what struck with them. That was the big thing. That I talked about wrestling, and they's like, we like you. I mean, that's what it was. I can't help it. I talk about Roman. We talked about the Usos. And then we talked about Magic City Wings. But hey, like I told Steven, I went to Magic City for the food. I did it just to make sure that the food was up to par. That was it. Just saying. I think we make an Elite 8 this year, and Pope saves his job. Hey, Caleb, we'll talk about that here in a second. Well, because I have some theories. I have some major theories that I think it's going to, change not really change the landscape of how Pope's directory is going to go, but I have a lot of thoughts about what I think it's going to be. But no, so I left it like. So I heard that there was the interstate was shut down. So I left it like I had to be there at 12:30ish, 12:15, 12:30ish. So I left a little early. And when I tell you the craziness that I have seen on that highway is ridiculous. I've never seen road rage up and close and personal until I was in Louisville for a while. Hey, they don't care. Pope has been a gangster the last 2 weeks. Hey, Pope has done. Hey, man. Pope has done some wild things. Like Dark Pope has went crazy. Dark Pope and the beard. Hey, if he gets a Rick Ross beard or a big beard, man. Hey, it's gonna be a whole different story. But no, like Louisville traffic, I like. I don't like. I mean, I don't like. I don't know how people will. I don't know how people are gonna. And then they was talking about the can opener that has like destructed like so many daggone trucks and everything. Like that was like hearing all that stuff, and then but once I got like to the location, it was cool. And then getting out of Louisville was a lot better than getting into Louisville. So now, shout out to Steven and them. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of the Kentucky Roll Call. I will be back Friday from 12 to 2. Looking so much forward to that. Looking to looking to have some fun, man. Like I said, it was fun. There was a lot of things we actually didn't even get to talk about, to be honest. We were just going all over the place. It was fun. Like it was a good time. It was great, great energy. I'm all about vibes. I'm all about good energy, and it was great energy there. Had a good conversation, talked about, this and that. So it was a good thing. But let's get on to it. Let's get on to the next thing. And like Wireman says, Mark Pope has been going crazy right now. And let's talk about it. The last 2 weeks, Mark Pope has literally, I would say, arguably had the best 2 weeks than any college program has in the last 2 weeks. I'm just being all the way honest. Name another coach in the last 2 weeks that has had a better, has better things that has happened to them or got the commits than Mark Pope in the last 2 weeks. I don't think you can name anybody that has had the best 2 weeks than Mark. You get Malachi coming back. You get Milan, and then you get Ryan. Those three things, first, and we'll go back to what I think has happened to get Mark to kind of change. But those three things right there, those are arguably, name another college team that's had those things happen in the last 2 weeks. I don't think you can name anybody like that. I mean, if you can, bring them on. Tell me. But I don't think you can name any other coach that has had that happen. And honestly, what I think has happened, and this is just me, I think this is what, let's go all the way back. Let's just go back in time. Let's go way back. And to be all the way honest, I think what has happened, I think it all changed when Tyron committed somewhere else. And then you started hearing the rumors of Pope, Pope is this, Pope is not, not relatable. Pope is this, Pope is that. And I think Pope really had to sit down in a room and analyze himself. What do I need to do to take Kentucky to that next level that I want it to be? You have to, at some point when you get slapped in the face, you have to sit your butt down and ask yourself, is it me? Is it me? What am I doing wrong? I'm the leader of this ship. I am the captain of this boat. I am the man. I am the alpha. What is it that I am doing wrong that these players do not want to come play for me? Now, you could say relatability. You could say a lot of these things. You can say so many of these things that, what is it? So I think Pope sat in a room, might be in a beach room, whatever it is, and said, you know what? I have to change a little bit. I have to flip something. And I think that's what happened. I think, he started to handle things a little bit different. First, it started coming out and answering these questions from the fans. It started, being a little bit more open to Big Blue Nation, because there for a while, like from what I heard, they were all, hunkered down, working, being, just going to work and ignoring everything. And that's the worst thing you can do. That is legitimately the worst thing you could do, is sit down and just ignore all the chaos that's going on. That little meme with the dude that's sitting there eating and the fire going crazy, or the little Elmo and the fire's going, that's what it looked like. Big Blue Nation was burning it down, and Pope just didn't say a thing. So once the Tyrann thing, and then we really became a laughing stock when, and I was telling, I was talking to Steven about this. I was like, you think about it. Tyrann went on inside the NBA and literally trolled Kentucky. And that's just my opinion. That is just my opinion. I think he trolled Kentucky. And he trolled Kentucky the whole time, in my opinion. But it turned out to be a better thing for Pope because now you're the laughingstock. Now everyone's pointing at you. Everyone's talking about you. Oh, shoot. I just got smacked in the face. I got to do something. So he said in the room, he's like, what do I need to do? What do I need to change up? Insert Mo Williams. Mo, I need your help. And I've said this when Mo got hired. Mo is the best hire that Pope could ever have. Now you could say Jamal Crawford, if he comes, I'm still up in the air about that. But what Mo brings to the table, and a lot of people didn't like what I said when I said Mo was the most important hire to Mark Pope. A lot of people was like, well, no, Pope still got to give the okay. Pope still got to do this. Pope still got to do that. He got a tattoo and started listening to heavy metal. He started listening to Welcome to the Jungle and just went crazy. What Mo brings to the table, Mark can't bring to the table. And that starts with relatability. He won an NBA championship. He played with LeBron. He played 13 plus years as an NBA vet. And Pope's credentials and that credentials is not the same thing. It's so much easier to relate to Mo Williams than Mark Pope. Let's just be all the way honest. Mo probably listens to the same music. Mo, you see him. Jumpsuit, you know what I'm saying? Chain whistle, he's more marketable to the modern athlete than a Mark Pope. It just is what it is. And I said this to Steven. I said, it kind of reminds me of the cool kid in school, the very, very popular kid that hung out with that one kid that wasn't as popular, but once he was like, hey, man, give dude a try, man. He's a cool dude. He might got some crazy little ways, but he's a cool dude. So now everyone's like, oh, yeah, he ain't that bad. All right, he's cool. If you like him, I like him. It's cool. It is what it is. So now Mark Pope is kind of, and it's going to be interesting to see, how the other, coaches and, media and stuff like that is going to talk about him going forward. But I think at the end of the day, you have to think of it like this. If I'm not able to reach these kids, if I'm not able to kind of connect with them, I'm going to put somebody in place to be connected with them. I always go back to when I was coach at Tate's Creek and Gerard knew Ty has the summer workouts. That's Ty's thing. That's what Ty likes to do. Ty will grind those kids until they're ready. And that was my bread and butter. So the summer workouts would be for me. And then going up to the season, going up to, preseason and stuff like that, that was my time as well. So pretty much I had the whole offseason and preseason to get these kids ready for the season for Gerard to be ready to go. And go Big Blue, let's go. And that was my thing. Now, am I the best X and O's? No, that's kind of more Gerard's thing than mine. I'll give him my opinion, who I think's hot, who I think is ready to go. But mine was developing these players ready for the season. And I've always had a method to it. I always had what I wanted to do. And then you had somebody on our staff that was kind of like the guy that they kind of went to talk to when things were going wrong or something like that. We had Alex Galanka. He now is a coach up in Ohio. And that's the thing as the head coach that I think Mark Pope really, really didn't understand and do well was, put coaches in spots to succeed, put coaches in spots to be able to, reach the kids or be able to make the kids better. I think at the end of the day, Mark Pope was kind of more of, I'm going to do everything my way and it's got to work. And once he saw it didn't work, then I think he was more open to trying different things, trying different, methods, putting coaches in spots to succeed, not always having to micromanage everything. And so once you do that, life is a little bit easier. So when you put a Mo Williams who knows Ryan's family, hey man, I need you to go get that. Or when Alex commit, hey, I got this. Mo, go get him. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I think it's best for to have coaches around him that, yeah, I'm with you. I think it's the best thing, because you got to think of it like this. If I am a player and I can't go talk to one of my coaches, what happens? Now I feel like I'm neglected, not really neglected. Now I feel like I'm not listened to. If I was to tell you, hey, I got a problem, coach. All right, what's wrong? Hey, Jacoby, thank you so much. Jacob, thank you so much for the follow. Coach, I got a problem, and you tell him his problem, and that coach does not know how to kind of word it or know how to help you in a way, and gives you bad advice. You're always going to hold that to him. So when you have coaches around that's able to help these young men, let's be honest. Let's say they're having a cold streak. Who would you rather as a guard want to go talk to? Mo Williams or Mark Pope? I'm sorry, I got to go with Mo. I have to go with Mo on what it is that I need to fix. Exactly, Mo. I'm not going to Mark. Mark does not know what it's like to play the 1, the 2. You know what I'm saying? And that's nothing against Mark Pope. I don't mean that in no disrespect. I don't mean that in no bad, mojo. I'm just saying, if I'm a guard, I would want to go to Mo. And Mo's going to help me because Mo has been there. So when you get these coaches that are able to adapt, able to, and this is why I say Mo is going to be very, very vital for this off season into the preseason, because he's going to be able to be really hands-on with the guards for the little short minute of time that you get per week, but he's still going to be able to help these young men get to that next level, which I think it's going to be amazing. Mark is like a 3 or 4. Yeah, Mark is. Yeah. Now, if you want to talk, now I don't think Milan is going to ask Mark Pope, what he's going to do. But hey, that's just, but that's still, where I think things have kind of changed. Wouldn't it be awesome if Pope and Mo started driving around armored cars with UK on the other side? What we're we gonna do? Be blasting Mini-Man while we're doing that? Oh my God. That would be hilarious. Hey, if he pulls up with a Rick Ross beard, a chain, a Nike tracksuit, hey, I'm gonna be done. I'm literally gonna be done if he pulls up to practice on the 15th with that. But back to Mo for a little bit more. I think if it's true, and Mo's kind of more the closer in a way of getting these players on the campus, talking to them, and then getting, introducing Mark, or however the nucleus is, it's legit working. And people are going to say, oh, well, the only reason you got Ryan is because the close between Mo and whatever. Okay, I'll throw something back to the people that want to say that. So you don't think that there's other people that are in those circles with other players? That's how you get recruits. Like, people want to throw dirt on Pope for landing a recruit, landing this, landing that. Well, he did it because of this. Well, he did it because of that. Oh, okay, great. Good for you. I mean, other coaches would be like, oh no, Kentucky's here. Oh no, they're here. Everyone run. Everyone run. Run now. That would be hilarious. Let's see. You think Jamal Crawford comes in as an assistant coach? No, I don't think so. And I said this Sunday. Sunday. I said this Sunday. I gotta really, you gotta think. I gotta think like Jamal, and as it's weird. You gotta think. One, you have the top player in his son. He's always lived on the West Coast. He's got a great job with NBC. Yes, does he want? He's coaching his kid. He's coaching his kid in AAU. Yes. Do you want to coach college? Yes. And yes, the tweet, I 1,000% can coach in the NBA. Yes, he wants to be a coach. But do you take that risk and fly all the way over to Kentucky? What do you do with your son? What do you literally do with your son? Yes. Do you put him in Frederick Douglass? Shout out to Frederick Douglass. Do you put him in Douglass? Do you put him in Catholic? Do you put him somewhere else? And let's say, knock on wood, it doesn't happen. But what happens if this year is just a complete flop? Just boom, just terrible. Now you took your kid all the way out of there and brought him to Kentucky. Now you got to fly all the way back next year. I just don't see it feasible for Jamal as of right now. Would I like it to happen? Yes. I would love for Jamal to be here. I would love for Jamal to come coach and have that. I mean, have a one of the best ball handlers, one of the best scorers out there. Jay Crossover. It does it work? No. Do I want it to work? Yes. Is there still legs? We've heard yes, we've heard no, but I just don't think, I just got to think of it as Jamal. I've got everything. Like, I'm a West Coast guy. That is me. I'm West Coast till I die. And, do you want to bring, like I said, do you want to bring your son all the way to Kentucky? Would it be great? Yes. Would it be, where would he go? Would he go, like I said, would he go to Douglas? Would he go to Catholic? Would he go to, shout out to Mike Stone? Would he go to LCA? Where would he go? I don't see it feasible for him, and that's just my thought on that. That's just how I think that. I don't think it. I think it would be good, but I just don't. Let's go to the fact that I've seen a lot of people say Mo has saved Pope's job, and I agree with that somewhat. I agree to that a little bit because, one, like we said before, Mo is the relatability one. Mo is the one that kids relate to. If you don't have Mo on the staff, what coach right now is the most relatable coach? I can't name you one. I literally can't name you one relatable coach that is on the staff right now. Does anybody know? I don't know. No one knows. So when I can hear rumblings of that Mo did save his job, and that is legitimately true. My thing is this. I can't say Mo has saved Pope's job yet. And this is the elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about because we're so high on getting these recruits and getting Milan and getting all of these, getting Malachi back. This is the elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it. Can Mark coach this team? And I said this on Kentucky Roll Call. I said, what scares me about Mark Pope is the highs of the highs that Mark has and the lows of the lows that he has. He's never really consistent. He's never been, that consistent guy where he's going to be able to, just control the game. You put the kid at Bull County High School, I think that's what you did. Jesus. Oh my God. You would, why? I mean, why? We want him in we want him in Lexington. Oh Lord. Hey, could you imagine that drive back and forth every day? That'd be a wild drive. That would be a rough never mind, I ain't gonna say that. That'd be a wild drive down there. That back and forth would be crazy. But the thing about Pope is I gotta make sure that Pope is on Go Rebels. I say nothing. Look. I gotta plug the places that I coach. I coached for Frederick Douglass for 2 weeks before Coach Mo resigned. I coached at Tate's Creek. One of my good friends is as at LCA. So you know what I'm saying? I gotta throw them out there. Oh, we could say Woodford County. I mean, all right, fine. Let's see. He has to get more consistent. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. He has to get more. Pope has to get more consistent in the fact of, I don't need him to panic. And, I don't need him to panic when things go wrong and start throwing stuff at the wall to see if it fits. I don't need that. I don't need that Pope that, that's just, don't know what to do. That's where we say that having a good assistant coach group and being able to rely on them is so important. Now I don't have to, and that's what I think the first year group kind of did. In my opinion, Pope was so locked in on film, getting this thing right. And I always go back to the same thing at the Duke game when he told, I forgot who it was, that Cooper Flagg is going to take 2 dribbles and spin. As soon as he spins, you go get that ball. That's when I knew Pope was locked in for that season. Pope was all the way focused. That's the Pope that I need. That's the Pope that when things went wrong, he still rallied the troops. Did he have some weird substitution patterns? Yes, he did. But in the grand scheme of things, it was a lot better, like you said, year 1 than year 2. Last year, I totally believe we got cheated. 100%. We got cheated, Mitch. I don't care if they find me, and walks away. Like, last year was so weird. Last year was just, you said it. Joey, you said it. Drama. And you know why there was so much drama? And I hate to say this. And I can't put all the blame on Pope. I just can't, but in a way I got to. Because when you're the CEO, when you're the head of the ship, where does the blame go? The blame goes to the head coach. It just is what it is. It is, I'm sorry, it is what it is. Is there some other things to blame? Yeah, there is. But when all else fails, who gets blamed? The head coach. And when this is just me, the head coach needed to stand up and take that locker room by the, I hate to say this, Joe, thank you so much for that. Needs to take that, and I hate to say it like this, take that locker room by the throat and say, listen, if you want to be in that drama crap, go, leave, get up out of here. I don't need that. That's where the alpha comes into play. That's where being the alpha helps. There was alphas on that team, and I've said this before, and I sound like a broken record a lot of times, because if you're an alpha leading alphas, you have to be the head alpha. You can't show any doubt. You can't show any, kind of weakness, because the other alphas are going to sniff it out on you. So now when you go to say something to these players, they're just going to look at you crazy. You look at the huddle. And watch when Mark Pope draws something up. Those players are like, man, that ain't going to work, because they don't believe in you. They don't believe in what you're teaching them, because really, should they? Because you have doubt in yourself. You have doubt in what you're teaching them, because you don't know what to do. So when you have, I don't know, technically what happened. Let's just throw players bickering, I'm just giving a general thing. Maybe players bickering, maybe, oh, I found out you got $1 million. I got 2 million, whatever it is. I mean, you stepped on my shoes, whatever it could be. Unless you handle that situation, which I don't think he did, unless you handle that situation in-house, either, hey, listen, fight it out, get it over with, let's move on. You don't think, and I hate to bring this up, and a lot of people don't like this. You don't think John, DeMarcus, Pat, Daniel Orton all didn't get in arguments and fight? And I don't literally mean fist fights, but you don't think they argued and went off on each other? Now, mind you, maybe some didn't go off on the cousins, but I'm just saying, you don't think they had arguments and they had fights? but they handled it. Now, mind you, yes, they lost to West Virginia, whatever. But if that team can handle, if that team could do it, you don't think last year's team could have handled it? Like, see, that's where I got to put the blame on Pope. On, you know what I'm saying? Now that happens, but things are just different. No, you're right, 100%. I totally agree. Like, my son's a lottery pick, so he isn't playing. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Like, that's where this is where I say Pope has to be more dominant in the locker room. He has to be more of an alpha. Yeah, you're right. He is the captain of the ship. He is captain of the boat. He is captain. So now, if you aren't able to direct the ship, if you're not able to fix the ship when the ship is breaking down, then I have to point the blame at you. I just do. And that is the elephant in the room that people don't want to talk about. But I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. I have no problems with it. My thing is can Pope coach this team? Now, I did see, you're right. This year's team fits Mark Pope a lot better than last year's team. It's totally right. I agree with that. This year's team is great. Great on paper compared to last year. But my concerns are, is Pope going to be able to manage the game when the game is, kind of close and crucial? That's what scares me about Mark Pope. Yes, he's got his X and O's. I have no problem with that. But it is the game management that kind of scares me. And hopefully Mo's there to be like, hey, coach, hey, kind of calm it down. And I've seen so many comments of, well, Mo can't coach. Hey, look at what he did when he was a coach. Man, it's so much different being the head coach than an assistant coach. He needs to hire another X and O's man. He has one. And he also has a really, really good really good what's the word I'm looking for? Game plan person too. I forgot his name. Hold on, I'll tell you. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right. Let me see here. Hold on 1 second. Give me one. Oh, I always forget his name for some reason. I don't know why. I always do. Cody did I forgot, what was it? Cody did like three of the of scouts, and every scout that Cody did, they won by they won one. Like it was easy. He cuz I heard through the grapevines that there was a couple of games that Cody let me see. I'm going to tell you the games that he did. Hold up. Let me give you the games that he did, cuz I do remember the games he did. Wait a second. It was both the Tennessee games. I know it was both the Tennessee games, and there was another game that he did, which, you got to give him props. Yeah. He did a couple of the scouts so we'll see what he does. I mean, I'm not saying that he's the end all be all, but yeah, Cody did do a couple of the scouts that I thought he did an amazing job. Man, that's just me. That's just what I think. But once you start, and I still don't know who's going to be that last assistant head coach. Now, if he calls me, guys, I'm quitting the Coach Ty show and I'm going to coach college basketball. But if I mean, he's going to have to get somebody, and yeah, he might want to get another X and O's guy. I think, just thinking out loud, what I would like maybe, and people are going to disagree with this, you might want to hire more of a hands-on type coach for the bigs. You kind of might want to hire on something like this. Mark Fox needs to step up. Well, we're going to see. We're going to see this year what he's going to do. That's just me. I would think that you might want to get somebody, get somebody that might be in that area of maybe, just maybe, just, I mean, kind of like, I'd hate to say it like this, maybe like the Kenny Payne type who worked with the bigs and like developed the bigs and got into that, got to elevate those guys. Might want to look at that, but you have one spot available for assistant coach. Could it go to Jamal Crawford? Yes, it could. I think, like I said, I don't think it's a good fit in my opinion. I think it'd be, let me not say that. I think it'd be a good fit, but I don't think it's the right fit for Jamal as of right now. That's just my thoughts. I would love for him to be here. I would love for Jamal to, be on the staff. It'd be could you imagine Mo and Joe Williams and Jamal walking in EYBL with Mark Pope? Could you imagine that? Like literally. Like it'd be like Eminem with 50 Cent and Dr. Dre walking through. It literally would be Eminem, 50 Cent, and Dr. Dre walking all in EYBL. Hey, that would be hilarious. I swear. But I think that would be, I think that'd be a good spot to see Field or whatnot. I think we get Crawford. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I go back and forth a lot of times about, should he come? If I'm him, do I come? Wireman wants his son to go to Boyle County, go Rebels, or, and where do you put his son? You can't keep his son out there because, he wants to be around his son. He wants to be, kind of like hands-on, with his son. And I mean, where do you put him when you come down to, do you pair him? You can't put him in, where do you put his son? Like, you can go to Frederick Douglass, shout out to Go Broncos. Do you put him at Lexington Catholic? Do you put him at, Woodford? Like, you don't know, I just take him. Also, so we're just gonna skip everything and just go ahead. Oh my Lord, could you imagine that? Oh my God, that would be so funny. That'd be wild. But let's talk about, real quick. Let's go through the timeline real quick. Let's go through the timeline real quick. I want to talk about Malachi just for a few minutes. I want to talk about what I think having him back on the staff is going to do. Sorry. I like UK's matchup against most teams now. I do too, but and this is what scares me about UK. And this is, you can say, I've seen a lot of people say that, I'm not worried about stopping people because, I'm not worried about stopping people because I know that, we can outscore anybody. But in the tournament, the game slows down so much. The game isn't as fast paced. Yes, the first, first 24 it'd be now, or whatever it is now. Those games are fast, but as you get deeper into the tournament runs, and you see it in the SEC tournament games as well, is the game slows down and it becomes more, it becomes more systematic. What's good, Cody? It comes very more systematic. It comes about, strategic. And what scares me kind of with this team is the defense. Yes, we might be able to score with anybody, but I need us to get those late game stops. I need us to get those 4-point swings where, we're it's tied. We get a bucket, we go up 2, we go down and get a stop, and then we score again. I need those 4-point swings to happen in our favor. So with this team, I need us to be, and that's kind of what scares me. And to be all the way honest, rebounding. I need, and this is where it goes to Malachi, is I need him to be a dog. I need him to be a man-child down there. I'm going to throw this to Frank now. I need Frank to beat up on Malachi every day. And if you look at the daggone photos of Frank, reporting to summer practice, Frank looks like a grown man, like literally. But what I need him to do is to beat up on Malachi every day. I need him to throw him on the ground. I need him to get Malachi so mad that he becomes a different person. He becomes a beast. He becomes an animal. There's a reason the last 20 champions that have been top 25 defense. Yeah, 100%. Great stat. Great stat right there. There's a reason why the last 20 champions have been top 25 in defensive efficiency since. 100%. Not everyone, like, you can score 1,000 points, but if you let the other team score 1,001, you still lose. Like, that's where it kind of scares me just a little bit about how our defense is going to be. And I've got to see as we go on. We'll see how the defense is going to be played. I hate zone. I'd never like zone. I don't want to play zone. I want us to be mano. Guard your yard, guard your man, and don't let him get a bucket. We'll see how that goes, though. Should we get a defensive style coach? No, I don't think a defensive style coach would really do too much in Mark Pope's scheme. I don't know. Yeah, we could, but I just don't. I think with if we was to hire a defensive style coach right now, it would be rough because now he's got to probably like look at this team and be like, all right, what can I do? And especially with the summer being here. And I'm going to talk about the summer, what goes on during the summer here in a few seconds. I still think you get a little bit of the player development type guy. Let's see. We have shot blockers and Cam as defenders. Yeah, but we do have shot blockers with, you say Frank, you could say, Malachi, but I got to see, I got to see how it's going to play out. I got to see how Cam's going to be. There's a lot of factors that I have to, when practice starts going on, I got to go watch practice, see kind of like how everything goes. But you're right. We do have beef. I want Frank to go around campus rough. Could you imagine just him walking to class, just shoulder checking everybody? Like just like, hey, I swear to God. Look, hold up. Let me see if I can find that photo of Frank and what's his name. Look like Frank was taking his kid to I swear it looked like Frank was taking his kid to drop him off. Hold up. Let me see. Basketball. Let me see if I can find this. Where is it at? Like, it literally looked like Frank was dropping his kids off. Where's it at? Look, right here it is. Here, him and Zoom. None to get Zoom. Hey, none to get Zoom. Tell me that don't look like him dropping his kid off at college. That's a grown man right there. That literally is a grown man. It look like he ready to drop his kid off at school. Not against Frank, man. I mean, not against Zoom, dog. I don't want no problems, Zoom. I got nothing but love for you, big dog. I ain't got love for you. 27 with a mortgage, 2 kids, and a 401k. That is our backup center for University of Kentucky. I think we're undervalued across the board and can't wait to surprise. No, I'm with you. I think we could score with anybody. I do. I think we literally can score with anybody. But what scares me is, can we get stops when stops is needed? We could probably get stops, but I need stops when stops are needed. I hope he does stay healthy, but I really believe, this is just me thinking, I really believe that if we can limit him to 15 minutes tops, they fridge and microwave to the Hey, you remember the little Giants where that one dude was carrying the freaking refrigerator. I can see Frank with the daggone refrigerator just walking up the daggone stairs. Oh my god, that should be great. But I think if Frank can go 15 minutes max, I think he'll be fine. That I think he'll be okay. If we can limit him to 15 minutes, I think he's going to be amazing. But let's talk about the summer. Let's talk about what's going to happen during this summer. For those that aren't, kind of in the coaching realm or kind of, don't really understand what it goes on in the summer, I'm going to kind of explain, what the thought process goes through the summer. Kind of what we think as coaches of what we want to do and what groundwork we want to, lay for the preseason and all of that. So right now, you're going to get your conditioning in. You're going to get acclimated to the team. You're going to be hitting the weight room. We're going to, be in college is different because you have a cap of how many hours you actually get per week. Kind of in a way, same thing with, high school, but it's a little bit different. And I'll just go by the high school. So normally at this time, high school wise, you're playing games. College wise, you're getting your conditioning, you're getting your weight room. You're the first couple of times, it's more of individual things. You're going to go, individual workouts, guards, bigs. You're going to kind of mix it up. Sometimes maybe a mix of guards and bigs to be able to, fine tune some things. Then as the summer goes on a little bit longer, then you're going to start really laying the foundation for what you're going to run. So you're going to put in small little sets. You're going to put maybe, it depends on how Pope structures it. Maybe you're going to do like, okay, this is the first part of our offense. This part right here. Then we're going to put in another part of the offense. And that's kind of like the base level. As the summer keeps going, you're going to be all out 5-on-5, running some sets, doing, some things, getting ready to put the full offense in once the preseason starts. So that's kind of like how it goes about for what we used to do at Tate's Creek. What we wound up doing was we came up with the drills to implement the offense. So we did a lot of, dribble drive type things at that time because we had a lot of guys that, get up down the court, high flyers. So we would implement the dribble drive, sets. So we'll go nail where we would go to the free throw nail. Boom. We'd have a drill for that. Or if we wanted to advance, we'd have a drill for that. Bigs we would have on a separate end because they would pretty much be playing underneath the basket depending on where the guard went in the offensive scheme. So we would have them catching the lobs or being able to roll to the basket, kind of like in a triangle. Think of it like a triangle, okay? So they're running baseline to baseline, and then sometimes they would pop up to catch the ball, turn, and then you can go. So it's kind of a way of being able to put in the offense and also getting them familiar with how you want to play. People like, Malachi that's been there, he's going to be able to explain the stuff to Frank. You got, Cam that's coming back. He's going to be able to explain, kind of what is going on, with, the offense. So that's kind of what is going on. Then, the thing is you're going to be breaking up your hours between weight room and on court. So, it's a balance of how much weight room do we need? How much time do we need on the court? As you go on, you kind of not really get away from the weight room, but it kind of leans more to being on court and then the weight room. But that's kind of how it goes in the summer. Then, you get your break, school starts, and then, it pretty much ramps up from there. Let's see. We have quick arts stay in front of Frank the Tank, the Wolfpack. Eminem, I love it. I do. I think Frank's going to be. We have a very tall team, which also, we do have a very, very tall team. If you really wanted to, and I heard Jacob and them today on Sources say that he's heard that Pope is kind of thinking about Cam in the 2, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But if you think about it, we have a long athletic team, like legitimately, from Malachi to Usman. Like this team is long. This team is very, very long, which is what we always say: spread your wings. If you spread your wings, you're going to be getting in the passing lane. So that you're right, 100% right about that. That is going to be very, 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 very big right there. As I believe we're the starting the 6'8" at 2 guards. Yeah. But let me go to what I heard. Heard Jacob say, rumblings that Pope might be thinking about playing Cam at the 2. I don't like that. Nothing against Cam. Nothing against Cam. I'm anxious to see what Cam is going to do. I just don't think Cam at the 2 would do anything for us. He at the 2, you should be able to go. You got to be able to develop and be. I don't. In my opinion, hey Kentucky, thank you so much for the likes. I don't think Cam at the 2 would be good. That's just my thoughts. I don't think putting him there, he's not ready for that, in my opinion. That's just me. That's just what I think. He's not ready for that. I think, you have enough players that is actually, I think you have enough players where you don't need him at the 2. Especially with like Jerome and all of them, you don't need Cam at the 2, and that's just my thoughts. I don't think, I have no problem with maybe trying it out, but as far as him at the 2, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm just not a huge fan of what. All right, hey, have a great night at work. Thank you for stopping through. Thank you. I'm not a big fan of it though. I'm not a big fan of it. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about Ryan. Oh, of course. Gotta love. Let's talk about Ryan. Let's talk about Ryan committing to UK. What I think about it. What do I think going forward is going to be. I saw a lot of people say, well, he's not as good as what they say he is. Well, you can kiss my whole butt. Okay? You can just kiss my whole butt. I think this is a great signing. One, it takes Mark Pope. It finally takes that stigma off of Mark Pope that he can't land the big fish. And it always takes that one person. It always takes that one person to pretty much go in there and be like, hey, it's cool. And I said it a couple times. I said it when I was talking about Ryan. I said, listen, he's going in there. He's trusting Mark. He's trusting Mo. And once he sees everything's fine, then there's gonna be rumblings. Hey man, come on over here, man. It ain't what they say. It's cool over here. It's fine. Getting him, and I responded to somebody in the comment section saying that do you think that getting him at this early stage is a bad thing? No, I don't. I don't think it's a bad thing because now Ryan can actually go out there and recruit more players, aka his cousin, who's the number 1 player, into saying, hey man, come on over here, man. It's good over here. It's cool. Come on. Now you have somebody that's already committed that's going out there. Now, I heard, hey, BBN, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. I heard other people saying, well, other people can be in his ear. Yeah, that's fine. Let him be in his ear. Go ahead. Who doesn't want what somebody's already got? Now everyone's going to wonder, why do they want this kid? Why? Then other players are like, well, if he's going there and they want him, what's going on? And then it strikes critique. It starts striking things up that people want to know. Hey, what's going on over here? And now let's just not saying, now we get the number 1 player to come in here on a visit. Oh shoot, he's got the number 1 player. Whoa! Is Kentucky back? Whoa! I thought we didn't want to go Kentucky. I thought Kentucky wasn't cool. I thought Kentucky wasn't. What? Everyone's going to Kentucky now? But it takes one player. It took one player to say, you know what? I'm going to take the leap. I'm going to take, I'm going to find out. I'm going to go see what it's about. And that's why I think having Ryan and getting that monkey off of Pope's back of the stigma of, hey, he can't land those big ones. He can't land those top 10. Looks like he's finding his groove. I really believe that. I think, and I said this earlier, I think he finally found his groove of saying, you know what? I can't control everything. I can't literally micromanage everything. When I micromanage everything, from anything and everything, from one little grain of sand to one mistake, I go crazy. That's when I go in press conferences and scream, Mitch, I don't care if they fine us, blah, 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 blah. Or talk about in press conferences that, you know what, I want to crawl up in a ball because you have so much on your shoulders. Now you have assistant coaches like Mo that you can put different things on their plate. They can go handle that, and you worry about one thing: coaching your team. The biggest thing that I have ever took away from Calipari as a coach, as a former coach, the one thing that I've always taken from Cal is I can't control anything. I have to just coach my team. And that's kind of what Pope is kind of doing now. That's kind of what Pope is doing. I'm just going to worry about what I can control. I'm going to worry about what I can do. I'm going to give Mo this. I'm going to give Mark this. I'm going to give whoever this, and they're going to handle that, and I'm going to trust them. And the trust between Mo and Mark has gotten stronger as we go on, because now I'm hearing that Mo is kind of like the closer in this whole process a little bit. So now we're starting to see Ryan's pop up. Chad, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. Yes, bad public attention scares off players, and winning games and recruiting changes things 100%. So now, okay, Mo did his part. Mo's getting the recruits. Mo's making Kentucky cool. Like, hold up. I'm about to pull up a photo, which I love this photo. Let me see. I love this photo because this photo told me. Hold on one second, Mark. Hold up. And Mo, let me see if I can find it. All right, hold on. I love this photo. I love this photo because of one reason. You tell me Mo come up to you and talk to you, maybe your coach, or maybe, your mom, your dad, whatever. You don't think you're going to sit down and talk with Mo? 13-year vet, NBA champion, play with LeBron? You ain't going to talk to Mo? Now, like I said, could you imagine in that other chair, which, like I said, I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know. You got Jay Crossover sitting in that other chair. Imagine Jay Crossover, Jamal Crawford, Mo Williams, and Mark Pope sitting in your living room talking to you about coming to the University of Kentucky. You got arguably one of the greatest ball handlers and Jamal Crawford. You got a 13-year NBA champion in Mo that's going to teach you how to be an NBA player. Then you got the X and O's guy, which is Mark Pope. That's gonna direct the ship. Like I said, you got Eminem, 50 Cent, and Dr. Dre walking to your living room. That's what it is. You've got them walking into your living room. You think we'll find? I mean, like I said before, I don't know. That's what scares me about Jamal. I don't legitimately know, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's feasible for him to come to Kentucky. You're coaching your son. You're a West Coast guy. You bring your son all the way to Kentucky. There's so many daggone variables in that thing. I just don't know. Like his duties for NBC are over with. It's the finals now, so who knows? At this point, I don't know. I would like for it to happen, but would it be make or break for if we lose him? No, it won't. But trust me, I would love for Jamal to. I would love for Jamal to join the staff and add another layer of of being the cool school again, because that was the thing. And I hate to bring Cal up, and a lot of people just drill me in the head because that's what when Cal came to Kentucky, he made Kentucky cool again. And I said this on Friday on Big X Sports Radio. I said this: Cal made Kentucky cool again. We had LeBron, we had Jay-Z, we had all of these big name celebrities coming to Rupp Arena, and Kentucky was cool again. Kentucky had the John Walls, the DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis. Anywhere you would go, you would see Kentucky branding. Now, mind you still go in everywhere. You still see Kentucky, but it was so much different from the Slam magazines to this. And yes, that was so much different because we didn't have, the cell phones. It wasn't more digital than it is now. But back then, it was so everywhere you went. ESPN was always talking about Kentucky. It was always on TV. Now, toward the tail end into, last year, other than that first year, what has it always been now? We're the laughing stock of college basketball. 22 million last year went down the drain. So to see us finally kind of get, the Milan, get Malachi back, now landing some of these targets, now landing, a top 10 prospect in the 2027 draft. 2027 class. It feels good to actually win some. It feels good to actually be like, yeah, all right, let's go. But I also got to pump the brakes. You can't always drink the Kool-Aid. You can't always just guzzle down the Kool-Aid. You always can't do that because of one reason, and one reason only is we have to see the games play out. I have to see what Pope is going to do when it becomes crunch time, when it becomes game time, when it becomes we're down 2 with a minute left. What are we going to do? That's going to tell me a lot about what is going to happen as far as the program goes. We can have the best program on paper, but if we don't have that consistency of Mark Pope, like I said, not too high, not too low, just right there, and then peak at a perfect time to make it the run in March. If we don't have that, then we're going to be kind of like, oh, shoot. We can get the Mo Williams. That's right, Sophie. We can get the, really? Really? She don't care. She runs this house. We can get whoever we want. But if he can't coach and technically get this thing going, then we're down the drain. But, I think, in my opinion, we're set up for a very, very good year. I am excited. I know as of right now, there isn't really much going on yet. We got, other than, getting Ryan, and, we got summer practices going, football's ramping up. So, as we go further, I'm going to be, I'm going to try to get as much intel I can about practice, who's doing good, who's doing what. So these Coach Todd shows are still going to be going on, about the UK team. We're going to be probably breaking down some film. I'm going to actually have some guests come on here soon talking about, what we think is going on. I'm going to have some coaches, I'm going to try to get some athletic directors on here. I'm still working on that. I'm going to get some other media members on here as well. And we're just going to have a good powwow talk. But guys, that is probably going to be it for today. I want to thank y'all so much. And do not forget, 12 to 2, Big X Sports Radio in Louisville. I will be live with Stephen Peak of KSR. We will be live from 12 to 2 Friday. Guys, thank you all so much for tuning in, man. Love y'all. I can't do this without y'all. This has been so amazing. And thank you all so much for, I know TikTok hates this, but the Facebook page is taking off. I just want to say thank y'all, man. Thank y'all so much for everything. When I started this, I didn't think it would take off like this. And you all have, showed me so much love. BBN, man, I can't thank y'all enough for everything, guys. I really can't. But, guys, I will be back on SportsX Radio Friday. Tune in. The text line is going to be there. We'll be reading YouTube chat as well. I don't know. I'll talk to him. I might throw my TikTok live in there, maybe on the corner of the room. I don't know if I'll be able to read it or whatnot, but I might throw that in there. I don't know. We'll talk about it, but guys. But thank y'all so much. I will see you all again next Tuesday. Peace.